Welcome to Every Coach Needs a Coach, a podcast for coaches of all sports and all age groups to learn from coaches and people they may otherwise never have the chance to meet. Jeff Jansen is a sports psychologist who's worked with college and professional teams, and he has a leadership program and lots of books on developing leaders and culture and teams. And I was listening to him on a podcast by a guy named Brian Kane, who's another sports psychologist, and I'll link it up. And he told the story of how the UNC baseball coach at the time dedicated every Wednesday of his fall ball season to these activities of Jeff Jansen's. They were team building activities and leadership activities and trust building. And the coach admitted that he felt like he was going to get behind because they were losing a day on the field. They weren't out there working on the physical skills of baseball. That spring, they played for the national championship. They didn't win the national championship, but they played in it. And the coach credits the fact that they got that far to those Wednesdays, because by the time the spring rolled around, he had a team that played for each other, not just with each other. They played for each other. And I thought it was interesting because Jeff Jansen talks about it and he says that was an investment. He invested that Wednesday every week. It didn't feel good at the time. It did pay off for him in the springtime. That's what an investment is. I'm 32 years old. I intend to tell my kids about compound interest and investing this year, just so they have an idea, because I wish I knew it at 17. And the idea of compound interest, right? You put $100 in today, and 10 years down the line or 15 years down the line, it's $1,000. The skills are the same way. That Wednesday of the fall was that way for UNC baseball that spring. And I like to give the example of with soccer, right? There are certain skills that will give you compound interest in your sport. So with soccer, we could be the best scoring team on the planet. If we can't trap the ball, if we can't pass the ball, if we can't move with and without the ball, we won't get the ball anywhere close enough to the goal where we can show how good we are at shooting and scoring. So receiving the ball, if we spend the first couple of weeks of practice just emphasizing receiving, passing, turning with it, moving with it, those skills will give us compound interest. And if we get better at those in the coming weeks, they'll compound. That's exactly what they'll do. And they'll allow us more opportunities to show how good we are at shooting and putting the ball in the net. So that's my challenge for you is personally and professionally look at what's going to give you compound interest. So professionally, I mean, in the sport that you coach, what's the one or two skills that you have to get good at? In basketball, it's catching. In basketball, it is catching the basketball. Look at any third grade team. And granted, when they're that little, sometimes they're still afraid of it. But if they can't catch it, who cares how good they are at shooting? They can't shoot. You need to possess it. So that's the skill for basketball. Every sport has one, I'm sure. So figure out what that is for your team and then emphasize that. Start emphasizing that every day in your practices. And personally, what skill is going to give you compound interest down the line? For me, I think it's communicating. The better I can get at communicating now in my life, the better my life is going to be in 5, 10, 15, 50 years. So that's my challenge. I appreciate you. Thank you for spending some time with me today. Keep getting better every day.